Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 179 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Before we get going this week, if you're watching us on YouTube, a little like on the video and subscribe to the channel would really help us out. If you're listening as a podcast, then just give us a little 5-star review, innit? If you don't think it's 5 stars, then you don't need to bother. Don't worry about it. That's not for you. We can just move on, get on with our day. If you do want to get in touch with us, comment on the video, or if you're listening as a podcast, you can click contact the show at the bottom of the description. We try and read out as many as we can. Not always possible, but we do our very best. If you'd like to find us on social media, it's at Me The Wife Pod. And of course, you can email us at methewifeandwrexhamafc@gmail.com. Admin over. What is coming up on this week's show, Sean?
So on this week's show, we talk about our double game week, away at Hull and at home to Watford. We round up last week's club news. We preview our game against Swansea.
Oh, God.
Which is this Friday.
Yeah.
And we also do the quiz. But as usual, the new segment of the show, let's do the Welsh Word of the Week. Welsh Word of the Week. Welsh Word of the Week. Welsh Word of the Week.
Did I come in a bit early with Welsh Word of the Week?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Welsh Word of the Week. 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 Hate that.
Yeah,
with
I know.
all my passion.
Yeah, I know you do. How's your week been before we do Welsh Word of the Week?
Boring.
Yeah. Okay.
Just recovering. It's just recovery is really boring.
I thought that's what your answer might be. As people might think that's not true. This isn't true, but I genuinely didn't prep you to answer that, did I?
No. At
all. Because this week's Welsh Word of the Week is diflas. Okay? Do you want to have a go?
Diflas.
Diflas. Nice and easy. Diflas has got a few different meanings. So it means boring, tedious, dull, tasteless, insipid, or uninteresting. That is what...
My week has definitely been diflas.
Yeah. I'd chosen this word prior to thinking about this because I sort of feel it's been the last few weeks. It's been a tough few weeks, hasn't it? You've had your operation. You're going through your recovery. It's really busy this time of year anyway because you've got Christmas coming up and everything's sort of going on at once. And it's, it has been a tough couple of weeks. At the same time, when you've got something like a sports team that you follow, I think you look to them to sort of break that sort of like normal
monotonous
what can be a monotonous sort of life cycle sometimes where you just you work, you're home, you're doing stuff at home, you're preparing for this, you're sorting out that, and you look towards your team to sort of as a bit of light relief. And I'm not sure I've got a lot of enjoyment from watching Wrexham over the last week. We will talk about the games, obviously, but it hasn't felt like that. And I think Wednesday night was diflas. It was a bit boring and it was insipid. I think very much so. I'd chosen that word, and then once I did choose that word, I thought that's probably exactly how you're feeling throughout the week. You are very bored. So apologies in the lead up to Christmas if this isn't the most upbeat, exciting word. But I think we've got to teach everyone two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
We can't just teach people happy,
I did
happy.
go to the hospital on Wednesday.
You did for something different.
Something completely different, yeah.
So you did get out of the house, but maybe not for the best reason.
Yeah, I've got hospital appointments coming out my ears, to be honest. For different things. I'm just falling apart.
Yeah.
At least my hip's better. Well, it's not better, but
it's on the way to it.
It's on the way to it, yeah. So that's one thing ticked off the list.
Fixing you one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Welsh word of the week this week is diflas.
We didn't have anybody attempting the word last week.
No, we didn't. So if you do want to attempt it, send us a voice note, and we'll do our best to play it out on next week's show. News. Let's get to news before we talk about the games. FA Cup draw.
Ball 44.
Ball 44. FA Cup draw. What's the score on the door? Sorry, you started that by rhyming, so I felt like I had to carry it on.
Why did you do it? Was that?
What?
Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Alan Partridge. Let's skim over that quickly. FA Cup draw news.
I don't know. I'm going to bleep his name out. I'm going to have to bleep his name. I can't have his name on this show.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, so you should be.
So sorry.
So you will never know what Siân just said.
Yeah, people who know will.
I don't think they will, because what you actually said was mental. So I don't think people will know what you said.
I don't know.
But let's move on. Look, we drew out Notts Forest. So Nottingham Forest, FA Cup third round.
At home.
Before we get into the details of the game, what did you think of that draw? When we got drawn, a lot of people were like, it's got to be our turn for a Premier League team. The amount of times that we could have drawn Premier League teams and we haven't. So we got a Premier League team. What did you make of it being Nottingham Forest?
I'm glad it's at home.
Okay. Why though? Why are you glad it's at home?
Because we get priority
Okay.
for our seats. So yeah. No, it's a Premier League team. Yeah, maybe it would have been better if we travelled down to Nottingham for it. To have a game away at in their stadium, but who knows? We may end up. I don't know. Oh no, they don't do replays anymore, do they? They just
don't. No, there is no replays anymore. No, unfortunately. So we won't.
It is what it is, isn't it? It's an FA Cup draw. I know it's important.
You sound very sort of, I don't know, uninterested.
Divlas.
Boring. So do you think it's boring? Do you think Nottingham Forest is boring?
No, not Nottingham Forest. No, I just this has been something that's like I've mentioned since probably the beginning of our podcast.
Yeah,
all those years ago. I hate the fact that it is fun going to watch these games and stuff. Yeah, but I just think it takes away the concentration of what's important. And I know the FA Cup's an important cup. It's not like the EFL League and all that kind of rubbish. It's the League Cup and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just rather concentrate on the league.
So do you struggle to get into any cup competition, regardless? This is the oldest cup competition in the world. Okay, the FA
probably
Cup.
Can get into this more than I can in like any other.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is your list of priorities is always league first.
Yeah.
FA Cup second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then whatever else.
Mickey Mouse Cup after.
Yeah. I can probably. I always get a little bit more excited when the FA Cup comes round. I think I'm a little bit different to you. As well, I obviously grew up in an era when I think the FA Cup meant more to not just to fans, but to the clubs as well. We played Arsenal. Obviously, I was at the Arsenal game with my dad in the early 90s. We were like bottom of the then 4th division, now League Two. And they were top of the 1st division, now the Premier League. Poles apart, we went into that game. We beat them.
That's the Mickey Thomas goal, isn't it?
It is. It's a huge part of our history, and it's still talked about today, 30 odd years later, and it will be for many years to come. But I think back then that the FA Cup actually meant something.
Yeah.
Arsenal came to players, and let's have it right. If Arsenal, Notts Forest, whoever it is, come to play a team, lower down the pecking order in the leagues, they're making changes. Some Premier League clubs are making 11 changes. So it doesn't mean as much to clubs anymore, the FA Cup. And I don't think it means as much to fans anymore. Certainly not the younger ones. I think the older ones, like myself and, older, it still means something to us because it meant something to us 20, 30, 40 years ago. So it still means something to us. But I don't think clubs necessarily give it the respect it deserves. It is the oldest cup competition in the world. And I don't know if that's a money thing, that there's so much money in the Premier League, for example, that everyone's going, well, that's the goal. The FA Cup doesn't really matter because the goal is the big money that comes with being in the Premier League and getting up and forward in the leagues. You even see lower down clubs making like 5, 6, 7, 8 changes in the FA Cup because they want to survive in a league or they're pushing for promotion in a certain league. And it has definitely lost something to a certain set of fans, and I think that's the younger fans, if I'm completely honest. I don't think it's got the same magic.
I'm coming under the bracket of younger fans. I like that.
Okay, younger / newer fans. Yeah. So it has. And do you know what? I'm excited to get a Premier League team. And Nico Williams plays for Notts Forest. He's a Wrexham lad. He's from just up the road. So that's exciting.
Exciting.
As a prospect. But I am not naive enough to think that
we can do an Arsenal.
No, not that. I'm not naive enough to think that Notts Forest are going to play anywhere near their first 11 in that game because they've been struggling a little bit in the Premier League. So that is their focus to stay in that Premier League and to make sure they push on. They've got a new manager. They want to stabilize and they want to make sure that they're safe and they're playing better football. They're also in Europe. So they're playing in Europe at the moment. So that, again, is a big driving force in that club. Yeah. Does the FA Cup matter to Notts Forest this season? Possibly not. And I think we will see how much it matters to the club as a whole when they turn up and what sort of team they put out. Because I don't think we're going to see the Notts Forest that you would see on Match of the Day on a Saturday night playing at the racecourse. And I am not naive enough to think that that's the case. That to me is sad. When Arsenal came, the team that played, the thing that made that such a great game and an important game in our history was that wasn't an Arsenal who rocked up and made 11 changes and played kids and played, fringe players and reserve players. That was Arsenal's starting 11 week in, week out in the league that we beat that day.
It was a bit different then though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That teams didn't go and make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 changes to a team. That was Arsenal that we went and beat. If Arsenal came to us now, I'm not sure we'd recognise half the players that were on the pitch because, you're going to get a very much a B team, reserve team, squad rotation type team that you know that you play against, and that's sad to me. But it
is what it is.
The old mantra, the old mantra of the show. It is what it is. So I'm excited-ish.
Yeah.
Because of the magic slightly, and I think FA Cup replays getting ditched have done that as well. Seeing non-league teams playing big teams at home and managing to scrape a draw, so they got a replay and got to go back to the big Premier League's ground, or they went to the Premier League ground and somehow managed to get. You really wanted them to get a draw so they could bring the Premier League team back to their. That's gone as well. So so the fun has been sucked out of the FA Cup to a degree, I think, and maybe it has become a little divlas, perhaps. I don't know, but I'm not poo-pooing it completely because I'm still excited, but I feel like I'm fighting to hold on to my excitement for this cup competition as everything crumbles around me a little bit. That's sort of how it feels, I think.
So dramatic.
Hey, look, let's talk about...
Just before you move on, the fixture date has been announced.
Yeah.
It's Friday the 9th of January, 7:30 kickoff. I'm assuming that's because it's going to be on the telly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You're not going to move it to a different day if you're not putting it on TV. So it will be on TV in the UK. Wherever you are in the world, you just have to... You'll have to sniff that one out wherever you are. Look, let's talk about Apollo Sports Capital. Ever heard of them?
No. I've heard of Apollo Taxis.
Yeah, do you know what? That's exactly what I was going to say. Weirdly, for us in Wrexham, the one of the main taxi companies is called Apollo. So when I heard that Apollo had bought into Wrexham, it was sort of like, what, the taxi people? Yes, but Apollo Sports Capital, they are a global alternative asset manager. They're going to be minority investors. What that means, we've got no idea. Well, we know what minority means, but we just don't know how minority. Yeah.
How minority?
Yeah. How minority? Read a little bit of the statement. As part of the investment, Apollo Sports Capital will also provide financing for the Stoke Kairos, helping advance the ongoing redevelopment of the stadium, including the new Kop stand. They are not quite owners, but they are the majority shareholders in Atletico Madrid in Spain. That isn't a little club in Spain either. That's a
I was going to say, is that a big deal? I don't know.
Big deal, yeah.
Okay.
So you've obviously got your top two in Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid. They're your big two. I would probably say Atletico's third behind them two. Not always, but generally that I would consider them as probably the third biggest team in Spain. They're a big deal. They're just asset management, so they look to invest in things and to make money. That's what they do. They allocate. I read they'd allocated, I think 5 billion for sports investments, not to Wrexham, in general across their group to go and invest in different things. They've obviously invested quite heavily in Atletico Madrid. Now in Wrexham. It's weird saying them two in the same sentence because I wouldn't have thought that 10 years ago. How do you feel about investors coming in? Because once upon a time, I seem to be harking back to a simpler time a lot today, but once upon a time you had an owner. One single owner. Tended to be a local lad done good. Tended to be owner of the club, and he put his money into that club. And I'm not being sexist or anything. It generally was a man that, you know, local lad done good, and he pumped his money into the club. It's very much we know that football is a business these days, and you know a lot of people have American owners or owners from overseas. Sometimes it works out. in our case, sometimes it really doesn't, like Sheffield Wednesday, for example, or Blackburn to a degree. Blackburn. I thought I got away with that. Thanks.
Sorry.
And now that became more and more prevalent. And now you're in scenarios like we're in, where it's not just a case of overseas owners coming in and taking over a club, but it's then getting divided up so clubs can generate more money from investment companies and from other sports teams or from other whatever. The pie, there's lots of little slices of pie getting divided.
It's going to be one mass. This is going to.
Lots of slices coming out of the pie.
Our pie has got very thin slices coming out of it because there's so many.
There is, and there's two ways to look at it, I think. You could just go, look, we need the money.
Yeah.
We've seen how much we've spent and how far that's got us. You know, a lot of people saying, look, they've spent 30 million and they've got an average championship team. You know, they're being derogatory, but based on our current league position, possibly not far off being true, really. So, and we've spent 30 million quid. How much do we have to spend to realistically get to the Premier League? I would argue it's possibly hundreds of millions. You know, probably, certainly 100, 150. If you're really pushing, probably close to the 200 mark. And then the amount of money that you have to spend to stay there.
Yeah.
Lots of clubs. It depends what your scouting is like, because Brighton, for example, have got a very good scouting system that they've set up. They bring players in, they show them off to the world, and they sell them for mega money. You know, they've sold some real big name footballers to bigger clubs, to Chelsea, to Liverpool, you know, and they've made a lot of money from it, and that is their model. I'm not sure we have that sort of system in place that we can do that at the moment.
No,
maybe
not.
in the future. So we're more, our model's more of spending money to hold on to it. So I understand that Ryan and Rob's pockets are not that deep. I don't think they're deep enough to get us there, and I don't think they're deep enough to, certainly not deep enough to keep us there. So things like this are inevitable.
Yep.
That we have to do this. How do you feel about it, though? Regardless of whether it's inevitable or not, and it's necessary or not, how do you feel about it?
It is what it is, isn't it? I don't really have an opinion on it. I think the way that you have to look at it as a business, and you know that, yeah, I just think it's got to be done. So I don't really have any like strong negative or positive feelings towards it. I just think it's a necessity that has to be done. At the end of the day, what they're doing is they're doing for the club and for the fans and all that kind of stuff. So and it feels like the people that they are choosing to give a share in the club, they've done, like, not them, but people, their entourage or whatever, their people around them, have done their research on these. Yeah, their due diligence.
Yeah, that.
Their research on these people. They've not just gone, oh, he's got a few million. Let's go and ask him. Let's go and ask Fred next door.
Yeah, I get that. If you had a choice, if somebody said to you, right, in 10 years' time, okay, you'll be in the Premier League, okay?
Yeah.
You can do it the way that we're doing it now, or you can do it organically, just keeping Ryan and Rob and building up a better infrastructure in behind. What would you prefer? Would you rather what I'm trying to ask is, it feels like there's two routes, isn't there? You can slowly grow and try and build the fan base, which we've done very well and very quickly, or you can go money, quick, and let's try. Do you get me? I'm not saying, I don't want people to misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is some sort of cash grab or anything like that, but this is this is the best way that they see fit to build the budget to push on. Okay, I think we've in my opinion we've spent enough to be a mid-table team. Okay, and that's how we look. Now, what we could do is we could slowly develop the youth. We could stay in this league for the next 10, 15 years, and eventually, once the infrastructure has caught up and we're in a better position, we might end up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
This feels like we are getting as much money in as quickly as possible
to get to the
Premier League
quickly as possible
in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
As opposed to that. So out of them two scenarios, what would you rather? Do you just want to get there, or would you rather see it happen slowly?
For me, I definitely don't want to go to the Premier League this season next season. And I know that people will be like, "Oh my God, you're not a proper fan." I just feel like it needs to be not organic, because you're not going to be able to get to the Premier League organically, I don't think. Not with...
Probably not. That was probably a little bit of a trick question from my point of view, because I don't think you can.
No, I don't think you can.
There are clubs who have done it, and by spending very little amounts of money, but I think they are very few and far between. Luton are probably one of them who've spent, small-ish amount. I'm not talking they haven't spent nothing. Let's put it like that. But in the grand scheme of things, they probably haven't spent very much, and did very well to get where they are. But the problem with the Luton model, the purest of football fans go, they did it the right way. They didn't throw money at it. They did, they grew and they grew and they grew and they got all the way to the Premier League. Oh, that's beautiful, and that's such a fairy tale.
But where are they now?
They're in League One.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's not just about getting there. It's about sustainability for me. And whether that is as much money as you can early doors, or whether that is trying to do it slowly, I would say the balance is probably somewhere in between the two. Like you said, you don't want to get there too quickly.
No, because I've said this before. I don't want to get there quickly and then, straight away we're in with the big guys. And we're getting
embarrassed every week.
Yeah, I think we just need to build on what we've got. And yeah, I don't know. If it happened this season, we get promoted, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. Yeah. Because it's exciting. But I think for the club's sake and the sanity of the fans as well, I think we need to build on what we've got in the Championship before we move on to the Premier League.
For how long?
I don't know.
No, I'm not saying but this is your
2-3 years.
That as little as that. So 2-3 years of consolidating and building up in the Championship. Do you not feel like our infrastructure needs to catch up to our development?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I suppose we need development on the ground. Obviously, we're doing the new COP at the moment. Well, they're starting it. Yeah, maybe
academy, training ground.
Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe the infrastructure needs, and that could take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So, yeah, I think once all that's in place, I think then would be a good time to push to go to the Premier League. But at this moment in time, we haven't got the infrastructure, obviously.
No, we haven't. And do you know what? I go back and two with this a lot, because part of me just wants to sort of sit tight. Sit tight, let everything catch up, and, slowly build on everything that we're doing bit by bit. And then there is a part of me that wants us to turn the DeLorean up to 88 miles an hour and just smash through in a ball of flames and just end up in the Premier League, and then maybe just try and hold on by our fingernails and see how long we can do that, and then grow from there. There's part of me that does want that, Because
I think, yeah, I get that, and I think
but
everybody would be like that. The dream is to be, for Wrexham to be in the Premier League, to be playing with your Chelseas and your Arsenals and your Liverpools and Man Cities and what have you. But I think that's a dream, not a dream, because it will come reality one day. I know it will.
I think I know it will as well.
I think I it's not a dream, but I think we just need to, like, we did it. We did when we promoted from the National League to League Two. It was like bang, League Two to League One, League One to to Championship, and that was good. That was exciting. The only reason I would like to promote to the Premier League this year is to go on the pitch again, because it's been a consistent thing for years.
I know. I get you.
But I think if we, like I said, when we kind of got promoted and everything, and I said if we ended in 12th in the table, I think that's a cracking year.
Yeah, it is.
Cracking season.
Yeah, I get you. I think we will. We're going to move on, because I wasn't expecting to talk about this for as long as we have. But I think we're gonna. This is something we're going to talk about again towards the end of the year and the start of the new year, because I think there's a lot more to talk about here. With how we are and where we are and where we want to be. I think there's such a you could literally do a 2-hour episode just on this. Mm-hmm. Love your thoughts on anything that we've been discussing.
Thanks.
What?
You just said you love my thoughts.
No, we would love their thoughts. The
know.
ones who are listening.
I'm listening.
Look, before we move on to the games, we got a gift.
We did.
That's been waiting patiently by your side, hasn't it? We had one of our listeners, Linda, who is lovely.
We love Linda.
She messages
and
all...
Truly.
Yes, and Truly.
And Truly the dog.
And she messages us all the time, and I think she's one of the people who, whenever we don't get a chance to reply or reply straight away, we always feel a bit bad, because Linda always messages, and we feel like we know Linda really well, and she sent us a little gift. You're gonna. I'll tell you what. You show them for the YouTube watcher, and I will do my best to describe them. For anyone listening to the podcast.
Okay, so this is the first one. Ooh.
So these are
Christmas decorations.
I think you can just get them all out, to be honest, Siân.
Okay. So that says St. Louis on it.
Yeah.
Lewis,
so
whatever.
these are basically they're sort of like they're Christmas decorations. So there's a St. Louis one. St. Louis?
I'm not sure. I think it's Louis, but I'm not sure.
We've got Wrexham AFC. What do you call that? By the way? Cross stitch?
Cross stitch, yeah. Yeah.
Little Wrexham AFC. Wrexham. I'm not sure. Wrexham AFC. Sort of like hanging ornaments, I would call them. Sort of thing that you put on your tree.
One with a...
Yeah. So is a Me, the Wife, and Wrexham AFC one. They are absolutely brilliant. And I'm not saying that anyone who listens has to send us gifts, but all I am going to say is Linda is at position number 1 in the fan chart for sending them in. So Linda, thank you so much for that. And we wanted to show them. We are so grateful that someone wanted to. I think it was my dad said he finds it mad that people are listening to us. Yeah. He doesn't find it mad people are listening to us, but from sort of like all around the world, and they're sending us such lovely things like that.
Thoughtful, like handmade things as well. That's a lot of thought has gone into them. So thank you so much, Linda.
Yeah, it means a lot. It
really does mean a lot. And I had to take them off. They were on our tree, but I've had to take them off to obviously show them. So they'll be going back on our tree. I've got to try and remember which position I put them in now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Hull.
Let's talk about Hull.
Before we do, there is it's something that needs mentioning. So there's been a yellow card reset after Preston. So Hull is the first game. There's like a yellow card reset. So the threshold for yellow cards up to and including the Preston game was 5. So if you got 5 yellow cards, you got a 1-game ban.
Which Lewis O'Brien didn't he?
Yeah, and that was up to and including the Preston game. From Hull onwards, it's now 10 yellow cards. Okay, so the threshold is now 10 yellow cards, and that is by game week 32, so the 32nd game of the season. If you pick up 10 yellow cards, you actually get a 2-game suspension for 10 yellow cards. So it's one of them where you just need to be aware. Just count up people's yellow cards as they're getting through. Anyone gets to 9 before game week 32, then they've got to walk a little bit of a tightrope. So we knew Wednesday was going to be tough. And to give you a little peek behind the curtain, every game we do a prediction video, don't we? Mm-hmm. We did a prediction video. I think you went for 3-2 Wrexham.
Yes.
I went for 1-0 Wrexham.
You did.
Do you remember what I said as soon as we turned the camera off?
You said, I reckon we're going to lose this 3-0.
Yeah. So, I would never normally say that on here, but I felt that I just wanted to be honest, because we will always try and be positive. I will never say, I think we're going to lose. Always try and be positive.
Or such and such is a really bad player and shouldn't be playing for us. And
I'm just talking about in predictions.
I know, but I'm just saying that's negative, isn't it?
So I'll always try and look for the positive and
always
think,
back your team.
Yeah, and think what the positive is. But we turned the camera off doing the prediction video. I turned to Siân. I said, I think we're going to lose this 3-0. Because we saw the team.
Yeah.
0 changes. Mistake for you? And not in hindsight at the time.
Yeah, because I said it at the start. I think they needed to do a couple of changes at least, and he didn't. So
no, I felt like we got a little bit outplayed for a lot of the game at Preston, and I think Parky probably looked at the 2 games he had coming up, Hull and Watford, and went, I do want to make changes, but let's push the team that played on Saturday a little bit more. And then let's keep the changes for Saturday. So the changes that I do make are a little fresher. We're at home, better chance of picking up 3 points than maybe on the road against somebody like Hull. Mm-hmm. So an unchanged lineup for me wasn't the right way to go, but I understood, I think, why Parky did it. Hull had also lost 4-1 at home to Middlesbrough the Friday before, and I turned to you and I said, there is not a chance that's happening to them 2 games in a row.
No.
And it just felt like a little bit of a perfect storm that we weren't really good. We were away for our 2nd game in a row. They had just been beaten at home, so they had the bit between their teeth a little bit to go out and get 3 points.
Yeah.
First 5 minutes of the game, it was just obvious to me that Dan Scarr and Dom Hyam were in big trouble. They had done their homework. They pressed us high. Dan and Dom, for as good as they are at defending, they're not ball players. And they couldn't get out. They couldn't get out. They were playing balls into midfield. The midfield they were on them before the ball got there.
Yeah.
I felt like they were picking the wrong pass. But having said that, in fairness to them, there wasn't much available in front of them to pass to. Hull really did. They were on them. And I think for me, the obvious thing after sort of 10 minutes is for a manager, I say obvious. Before you come at me, I know this would never happen. But I think it was obvious that we needed Callum Doyle. We needed someone who knew how to play. Not just knew how to defend, knew how to play and knew how to pick a pass and was comfortable with the ball at his feet in a way that Dan and Dom maybe aren't. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, the ideal scenario would have been 10 minutes in, Parky go, oof, I've got this wrong. I'm going to pull Dan now and I'm going to put Callum on. And I think that was probably... Is that ever going to happen in football? Of course it's never going to happen. It isn't. But it was obvious that he'd realised it because Dan just got pulled at half-time.
He did.
And then Callum came on at half-time. yeah, so I think in hindsight that was a mistake. They'd done their homework. They had us sort of pegged, really.
They had us by the balls.
They did a little bit. We went 1-0 down after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Arthur made a save, slightly deflected. I tell you one thing Arthur does a lot, and I always feel like I bash Arthur a little bit, even when he plays well. And I think the reason I do it is I know that Arthur could be world class. If it was a player who I felt like was always going to be slightly better than average, I don't think I would. It's not that he's taking my advice on board. I don't think I'd be so bothered. I think I'd just go, okay, he's made this mistake, but that's sort of his level. Yeah. So, Arthur's got this tendency that I think as a goalkeeper, what you're always taught is when you make a save, push it away from goal. So to the left, to the right. Always try and get it out of the danger area. We've seen in the last few games, Arthur pushing it into the middle where all the players are, and it does sometimes. I'm not blaming him for the goal at Hull, by the way. You know, he had to readjust his footing because of a little deflection. I think it came off Dobson, and but sometimes it's a very deliberate push into the middle, and I think if you can make a deliberate push into the ball, then you could deliberately push it somewhere else that isn't straight back into the middle. So yeah, like I say, I'm not blaming him. And then Kiefer missed that absolutely gilt-edged chance on 15 minutes, and I turned to you, I think, and I said, we're done. I said, that's it. That'll be... I'm not saying that's our only chance of the game, but I'd seen enough after 15 minutes to go, this isn't our day. And I was expecting more of these days up until now. But that was... Yeah, it was... Maybe the game would have gone differently if Kiefer would have tucked that away. Look, I think we were lucky to be 1-0 down at half-time. Then we got a penalty. What did you think when Kiefer picked the ball up and it was him that was going to take it?
Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to get saved.
Yeah, I without sounding horrible, I was the same. I was sort of like, I don't fancy him.
No.
I don't fancy him to take it. He didn't look comfortable, I don't think, taking it either. Obviously, Josh takes the penalty.
I was going to say it's such a shame that Josh wasn't on the pitch because... ultimately, I think that probably would have gone in.
Yeah.
Although you never know, dear. You never know with penalties.
Absolutely, you do not. Ollie McBurney came off the bench, made it 2-0. I hate him, but I've got to say, it was such a good finish. You know, he just had to sort of touch it and guide it into the corner. It's a great finish from him. And was that it finished 2-0, could have been worse. I did say 3, and I felt like it could have been. They were very good going forward, but I always felt like they were a little open at the back.
Yeah.
That maybe if we could get one, that maybe it might build something. But look, it didn't happen. Was that, for you, where did that rank in our worst performances of the season?
I mean, Stoke was pretty bad.
Stoke wasn't great, no.
But I think Hull was worse for me.
So if you were going to go sort of top 10 of worst performances this season, maybe Hull first,
yeah, I think
Stoke
so.
second. We're not going to run down the whole top 10.
Say good because I can't name you 10.
That would probably be the top 2 for you,
but
but Hull probably the worst of the season
at the moment. Yeah,
I think I find it difficult to disagree with that. If I'm completely honest, Michael Doob said, great name by the way. Michael Doob said no changes from a squad that got handled at Preston on Saturday. More of the same with tired legs, outworked. Yeah. Mr. Make Me, wow, that was a bad one. Wrexham completely bottled it. Yeah, possibly so. TES, woof, that was poor. And I think that was the sort of general, it was, it was poor. And I think sometimes you've just got to go, let's just get on with it now.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You do realise we can't call an episode that again, don't you? Because we have done that already.
I know.
But it is what it is. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
So Watford. So so it was my first.
I'm not sure this was much better.
No, it was exciting for me because
It
my
was
first
for
game.
you. Yeah.
It was my first game back in ages. Well, 2 home games, so that's quite a long time for me. It was nice to be back. It was a bit overwhelming, I have to say.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people around and stuff, and you're very conscious that you're holding people up because you're walking slowly on your crutches.
Yeah.
But Ryan was quite vocal and said people just have to walk around you, and
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. I tell you one thing. There was a few occasions where you might struggle to walk and things like that, and just people didn't care. And they were just like, you're sort of like, I don't know. It was just sometimes, and I started to wonder about my conduct around. Because I'd never really thought about it. I always like to think that if I see somebody struggling or they're on crutches or in a wheelchair or, they might need a little bit of help, I always think that I would.
Yeah.
I'm conscious of that and I would help. There's so many people just not. And I was like, come on, just go around.
Yeah.
What are you expecting her to do here? But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so the game, so it was my first game back. It probably wasn't the greatest of games to come back to, but in all, give them their dues, we did start off strong.
I think so. We had Doyle came in for Scar, and I thought Doyle was superb.
He's so quick, isn't he? Wouldn't think it because he's not fat. God, don't get me wrong. He wouldn't be a footballer if he was fat, would he? But he's quite a big lad, isn't he? Tall and big.
Yeah, he's got a bit of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
Shall we say that? I don't know if that's better.
You think with somebody that's got that kind of muscle mass, you think that that would slow them down. But I suppose he's young, isn't he? So
yeah, I thought he was excellent. He came in and he hadn't played. Obviously, he came in at Hull. At half time, I always think it's tough when a team's not playing well to get thrown into
pressure.
That. Yeah, I think that's quite tough for anybody. Hadn't really played since Oxford when he got sent off. So no, he superb. I thought he was 5 changes in total. Which we needed. I do sort of feel like it was squad management from Parky. That's just why. Felt like he'd sort of run a couple of players into the ground by playing them midweek.
Some might say that Kiefer Moore possibly needs to have a break now and again.
He needs
he needs to be taken off earlier than he's taken off, if at all he gets to.
I think we've got multiple players that Parky trusts in multiple positions. The striker is not one of them positions that I feel Parky's got enough trust in the people that are sitting behind Kiefer to go, right, Kiefer, you have a rest. Let's chuck one of these other guys in and then you come on for 20, 30 minutes at the end. I don't think that we have that, and I think that's the one position that we don't. I was sitting there with my little hand above my head going, Libby, where's Libby? Still no Libby Kakache. I think I speak for every Wrexham fan when I say, what the hell is going on? Where is he? Him and Kiefer Moore were out injured at the same time at the international break. And they were supposed to be...
Not the last international break, it was the one before that, wasn't it?
No, it was the last one. And then it was... And they were both due to be back. Maybe for the Ipswich game, maybe not. And then Kiefer's back. I'm not even sure he's still alive. Where is he?
He's gone home for Christmas.
As much as I love Jimmy, right? that's another player that you sort of go, okay, he needs a bit of a rest here because he's playing all the time. I get that he's super fit.
And I think he wants to play all the time.
Of course he does. But he is super fit. But he has old legs, and they need resting every now and again.
Yeah.
And Libby is supposed to be our first choice, and he is nowhere to be seen, and that is concerning for me.
I've not seen any sniff of
Nope.
how long he's out for, what's up with it. Like when Issa went out injured, it was like, right, this is Issa. He's out for 6 weeks.
This is the injury. This is how long we expect him to be out. This is how he's doing his recovery. This is where he's doing his recovery. And you're sitting there going, he's not even our player. He's a Man City player.
Yeah.
And we know where he is, what he's doing.
Where he's getting treatment. We even give away where he lives. That he lives just by the Man City training ground. So and you're there going, well, if anything, you've given us too much information on this player. Yeah.
Whereas the player who's our number one on the left, we know nothing.
It's a bit concerning, that, isn't it? It's like
Hugely.
For a player that never, according to people who have watched him play and stuff like that previously, before coming to Wrexham, never gets injured.
No.
And then now he's got injured and he's just disappeared off the face of the earth. Anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll find out what's wrong with him soon.
Gotta stop saying that. It is what it is. Look, it's decent enough, I think you said, didn't you, in the open exchanges?
I think so. I was like, because I was sitting on my own in my seat, and I was just like, I said, fair play. I said, this is completely different to how we started on Wednesday.
I think the bar was set so low
Yeah,
on Wednesday that I think anything would have been better.
Yeah, true,
Windass put us 1-0 up. He loves a first-time finish, doesn't he?
Was a good goal. I think it was a good goal. It had
was
a swerve on it.
He doesn't like controlling it. I've noticed this. Remember when he scored at Norwich? Issa was all on his own on the right. The big long diag from someone, Ben Sheaf, I think. Issa was out on the right. Windass was completely on his own in the middle. Issa crossed it, and all I remember thinking was, control it first. There's no one around you, control it. And he hit it first time, great finish, and he scored. This one the other day, he had time to control that, and he just went, nah, not going to bother, I'm just hitting it. And so I think he's more comfortable with hitting it first time, but you're right.
Hey, if it goes in, you keep doing you, Windass. You do you.
So we've obviously we've seen Broadhead a few times last few games. We've seen Windass come back in. Josh or Nathan, which or both or neither? What would you rather?
That is such a tough question because they both bring something to the pitch, and I've said this before. This brings them into the party every time. But I think, do you know what? I don't want to answer that question.
I tell you what.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't want to answer it.
Okay, I think at the moment it's probably Josh. From what I've seen over the last sort of month or so, I'm not a huge fan of Nathan's body language. If I'm honest, he felt like he was sulking a little bit on the sidelines against Watford. Up and down with his gloves on and his snood wrapped up around his head, shoulders slumped. He felt like he was in a bit of a sulk, that he wasn't playing. Yeah, maybe so, but I don't think you really want that from a player, do you? You want a player who goes, right, okay, it's not my turn this week. I've had the last 3, not my turn. Let's, the other guy's coming in.
Yeah.
Let's support him because, we want to go and win the game. That's what you want, I think, from the ultimate professional. I'm not saying he was sulking. I'm just talking about his body language and how it sort of felt to me. But, they equalised. What most people have said, it was a very unlucky equaliser. I would sort of disagree, I think.
To be honest, I didn't see it because... Oh, yeah, I did see it. Which end were they at? There was that end.
Yeah, they scored both their goals.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't classify it as unlucky because I think they ran they ran from their own box. Max, I'm not going to dig anyone out, but as a central defender, I think what you want is someone to be brave. And we allowed them to run all the way from their own box, all the way down the sideline. They got into a position, and then the lad had a shot. And Max did the thing I hate the most from defenders. He dangled his leg out, and he turned his back. And it hit him, and it looped up, and it went in. And that's something I hate because, again, we're going back to, but the 90s again, which I love, obviously. But
who didn't love the 90s?
You had defenders who were like hard as nails, who would stand there and go, if the ball's hitting me, it's hitting me. No one was turning their back, or no one was dangling a leg out. They were just going, get it past me. And it's just the one. I love Max, but it's just the one thing where you go, if you're gonna get it, but don't dangle a leg and turn your back, and then ultimately it's hit him and it's gone in, and it's sort of, it's the one thing where it is unlucky because he's hit it. It's not going in. It's not at all until it hits Max and it wrong foots Arthur. But I do sort of feel like the lazy leg, and that you turning your back on it, and it's sort of, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not, if I'm honest. But yeah, anyway, we didn't really get a grip back on the game really in that first half. More very average defending. Louser, whatever, the guy that I picked out.
God, I cannot stand that guy.
Good player though.
He's obnoxious.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely obnoxious. I have never seen a bunch of obnoxious players as much as I did on that pitch.
Yeah, I would agree. I would probably agree with you. But he sort of does what Josh does. Arguably maybe a little bit better. I'm not sure. But he was just everywhere. At some points, he was their deepest player. At some points, he was their most advanced player. He was out on the left. He was out on the right. It was quite obvious that he's the player that you pick out pre-game. And we let him just sort of stroll with the ball for 15 yards. He was nowhere, really. He was out on that sort of right-hand side, in from the touchline. We let him stroll 15 yards to the edge of the box. And then he crossed it. And then we had 2 bites at that cherry. I think Dom challenged for it, and that's difficult. They had a big lad up front, and couldn't get rid of it. And I think Longman came away from his man to close the other guy down, didn't get rid of it there, and it fell to the lad at the back post. He was then obviously all on his own, tucked it away. We're 2-1 down. Yeah, I don't know, really. Doyle hit the bar, didn't he, just before half-time as well? And Lewis O'Brien had a chance as well, which he sort of skied just wide. I missed all that because when they scored, I was like, oh.
Yeah, Ryan left me.
I'm going for a drink.
Yeah, Ryan left me and went for a drink.
Yeah, but you were all right. Anyone could have got you up, couldn't they? I
don't want other people picking me up, though.
No, but you text me and say, could you come and get me?
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yeah.
So there we go. We were probably the better team in the second half, I think, just. But I think we should be at home. We shouldn't expect anything less, I don't think.
It's
the least we should expect, I think.
Yeah.
At home, we should be the better team. Especially against the team who with the second worst away record in the league. I don't like
Watford.
No, I know you were very vocal about that. We had a goal disallowed, didn't we? Windass shot was well saved.
Offside.
Two men were clearly offside, and but there we go. And it looked like it had slipped away from us until Ollie popped up right at the end. Been on the pitch for 2 minutes. Lovely finish. Fell to him on the edge of the box. He chested it down.
He controlled it as well, didn't he? I thought he didn't just like.
No. Oh yeah, he controlled it.
He didn't just like. Oh, I'm just gonna shoot.
No.
He actually hit, like you said, hit his chest, went down the floor, controlled it with his feet, and then whack.
I think he just chested it and hit it.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he just smashed it right in the corner. And in
oh my God, his little. Oh, honestly, my heart warmed.
Yeah,
His
look,
little jump that he did, he was so excited.
Great finish from someone who's only just come on the pitch. It's a great finish. Hardy had a chance. I couldn't believe. I nearly fell out my chair when I saw Ryan Hardy coming out.
Because I was sitting like at the front. You went, Siân, look. And I was like, oh, Hardy.
I couldn't believe it when he was coming on. But yeah, he had a chance to win it at the end as well, didn't he?
Such a shame, because you just think,
that might have been the thing that really kicked him on.
Yeah,
and then Parky would have gone, oh, do you know what? I've chucked him on there, asked him to do a job, and he's done it.
Yeah, but
but unfortunate.
Such a shame.
For God's sake, can we please take the Man of the Match award away from the fans? I am sorry. I know Ollie Rathbone scored the winner. A player who plays 6 minutes cannot get Man of the Match.
I voted for him.
You're a disgrace. The reason. I'm sorry, but somebody who comes on in the 90th minute cannot win Man of the Match. I'm not being funny. Callum Doyle was superb on Saturday, right? If I was him, I'd be sitting at home on Saturday night going, well, what do I need to do to get in there? It's lazy Man of the Match, that is. And I talked about this the other week, that people are going, who scored? Oh, yeah. Max won it the week he scored. Ollie's won it for being on the pitch for 5 minutes.
Can I tell you my reasons?
Okay, before you go into your reasons, I'll tell you they're wrong. But go on.
Well, they're not wrong because they're my opinion, my reasonings,
okay. Yeah.
so they're not wrong.
Okay.
The reason why I did it was because he's been out for so long. He came on, he did what he needed to do, and he scored.
Yeah, and do you know what? Fair play to him. But the title of that award is Man of the Match.
I just wanted to make him feel good.
Yeah, I'm sure that the goal did that, and I'm not sure we needed to help him along. Look, I don't think the Man of the Match award works when it's voted for by the sponsors, because I think they just vote for the person they want to meet the most. We've seen that a lot happen in divisions
usually
before.
Paul Mullen, wasn't it, previously?
Yeah, Paul Mullen or Elliot Lee,
Yeah.
usually, because that's who they wanted to meet.
Yeah.
And I am sorry, but it is not working with the fans voting for it. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Who does it then?
I don't know. Someone who knows what they're doing. Maybe. Some official. I don't know. But that you can't have that. I'm sorry. That's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen all season. That is that a man who has played for 5% of the game gets Man of the Match. Sorry. I mean, it's just ludicrous. If you voted for Ollie on Saturday, shame on you. Absolute shame on you. Because I sort of feel sometimes that if you vote for somebody who scored just because they've scored, then you haven't paid enough attention to the game itself. Because there were more deserving players on that pitch of Man of the Match than somebody who came on in the 90th minute.
I told you my reasons.
And that's just a fact.
I just wanted to make him feel good for coming back.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
And I did watch the match, so...
Yeah, but surely if you must have realised that Callum Doyle had a great 90 minutes. Yes.
I do, but I wanted to make Ollie feel good.
What about making Callum Doyle feel good for stepping back after being out of the team for so long after he'd been sent off, not sulking at being on the sidelines, coming back in that team and putting in a Man of the Match performance? Did he not deserve...
Yeah, probably he did. And I apologise, Callum Doyle, if you're watching this. I know you're not, but you never know.
Anyway, we're down to 14th on 28 points. 6 off the playoffs, 9 off relegation. That'll do me. Let's keep in that sort of sweet spot. I would say halfway to our target points at the moment. 55, 56 points gets you 15th-ish. And I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that this season. Nice and safe. Nice and safe.
Okay.
That'll do me. Nicole said, disappointed but happy is the perfect description. Great to see Rathbone score, though. More minutes for Ollie, please.
Merculago, loss of points. We do need to punish teams earlier. Also, Keitha can be amazing or a bit mediocre. I actually think we need to know when to take him off if it's just not working. He stood around an awful lot and, yes, playing around with his hair.
Yeah,
My dad said exactly the same thing about his hair.
So what you said really there, though, isn't it? That, I think we need to know how to...
When to take him off.
Yeah, and how to manage him a bit better, because I think he's somebody that we're possibly running into the ground a little bit.
Yeah, and it can't be good for him.
No, I'm not sure it is. Mark Stylen, agree 100%, Ryan. We expected 3 points, so disappointment there. But getting the goal to draw is the point that we needed. Yeah.
Kent Albert. I was so frustrated.
Kent Alberta. It's Kent Gulliford.
Oh, hi, Kent. I was so frustrated once Wrexham scored and instantly geared down. Honestly, it was way more exciting once Watford took advantage of the sluggish play and put us behind.
Yeah, but probably. But it's sad, really, that we need that to get us going sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Quick fancy EFL update. So Ahmed Wilcox is in first place. Ben Parker is in second, and Ian Dougal is in third at the moment. Still no word on what Ahmed's real name is, but we've just got to keep going, haven't we?
Keep going. We're going to run about names, though.
I'm sure there's plenty of names.
We'll just start making them up.
Yeah. Let's talk about Swansea. Before we do, our next 6 games, okay, are Friday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, Friday. We've got no Saturday game until the 17th of January. You a fan of games not on a Saturday afternoon?
Do you know what? Yes, I am.
Okay.
I like an early kickoff on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Because you've got all the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
And I like a Friday kickoff.
Yeah.
Because then you've got Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So yeah, I do like a Friday game.
Good. Non-Saturday, I said, but
yeah, I'm not a fan of like all the other days.
No.
Unless we're off, which is obviously...
Yeah.
Which is what we will be.
Fair enough. Do you want to do Swansea?
Let's do Swansea. So it's the 22nd league game of the season. It's away at the Swansea.com Stadium on Friday, the 19th of December, which is this Friday. 8 o'clock kickoff, UK time. So their capacity is 21,000. Didn't give you the allocation of tickets today?
Didn't know.
Oh, okay, you didn't ask. They were founded in 1912. They finished 11th in the Championship last season on 61 points. This is their 8th straight season in the Championship after being relegated from the Premier League in 2018. So 7 straight. They had 7 straight seasons in the Premier League before that. They play in white, and their nickname is the Swans or the Jacks. Obviously Swans because Swansea.
Yeah.
Not why Jacks.
It is the Jacks is a.
Because I thought don't they call the Jacks from Rose?
That's Jacko.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
The Jacks. I think it's a naval thing. I'm sure we've talked about this on the podcast.
We have talked about this before.
It's a naval thing. I think. Yeah.
So they lost 2-1 to Stoke on Saturday. They're 19th on 23 points. So they've won 6, drawn 5, lost 10. And their last 5 games, they've won 2, lost 3. So they've lost 6 of their last 8 games. And they've won their last 2 home games.
A bit of a mixed bag there, really, isn't it? So they've won their last 2 home games, so you sort of go, okay. But they have lost 6 of their last 8 games. So, yeah, they've won 4 out of 11 at home this season. So I'm not sure you completely know what you're going to get. I think
it's so difficult to predict anything, to be honest.
I think games like this are tough because
it's a Welsh derby.
Okay, you've got it's North versus South. We've not played each other for a long time, and it's one of them. It's really difficult. Yeah, I'm not sure how this one's going to go, if I'm perfectly honest. We haven't won away in our last 7 attempts. So the last game we won away from home was Norwich, which is obviously, you're looking way back in the distance for that one. Only won 2 out of 10 away this season as well. And we've drawn 5, lost 3. So we're not great away from home. We seem great at 50% of the time. We're getting a draw, which is probably, in my opinion, away from home in the Championship, good enough.
Yeah.
As long as you're picking up your points at home. A couple of players to pick out. So they got Zan Vipotnik. He's a striker. He's got 8 goals this season. On his day, he's very good. He can be a little hit and miss at times, but I dare say he's going to be up for it. And you've also got Ben Cabango. He's a central defender. He is a Wales international, and he has played recently for Wales as well. So, predictions?
1-1.
I'll go 2-1 Wrexham.
2-1 Wrexham.
How important do you view this game? North versus South, both Welsh clubs in the second tier of English football. How important do you see this game?
I think every game's important.
Okay,
I don't feel like this game is more important than the game against Watford or the game against Hull or the games we've got coming up against Sheffield United and Blackburn and all that kind of stuff. I just think that every game, it's so hard to predict this league because it's so tight in regards to the points in between each team.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a difficult one to say. This one's definitely more important because, it's a north, south, west, at the end of the day, we're all Welsh. So there shouldn't be this rivalry between us.
Why?
But then you think, well, because we are rivals because we're different teams. But I don't think it's any more important.
I think I'm completely the other end of the spectrum to you on that one.
Shakara.
It's like going, us in Chester, we shop in Chester. It's such a lovely city. We should all just get along. It's not how it works, though, in football, is it? It's not like we're all friends. This is massive to me because what you're fighting for is you're fighting to be
the best Welsh team.
The best Welsh team in the leagues. That's what you're fighting for. I understand what you're saying, that all games...
Technically we are because we're above them at the moment.
At the moment. I would judge it on where we are at the end of the season, personally, not where we are on a week-by-week basis. But that's what you're fighting for. It's been so long since we could say we are the best team in Wales. So long. Years and years and years. So to me, this is important, massively important, and more important than other games that we will play this season because you're fighting for that. And if you can stop them winning and win yourself at the same time, all in the space of 90 minutes, that's huge for me. And that will always be huge. If somebody said to me, do you want to get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup or beat Swansea home and away? It'd be beat Swansea home and away all day long. All day long. I wouldn't even care. I'd go out of the FA Cup now before even playing the game if it meant we could beat Swansea home and away.
Okay.
That's just the way it is for me. I understand your... No, I'm not sure... I'm not sure I'm not sure I do understand your view, but I get why I get what you mean, that all the games are important, and if we are trying to get, if we're trying to stay safe or we're trying to push on and we're trying to have a positive season, then all the games are important. Mm-hmm. I get that. I get why you're saying that, but for me, I would definitely sacrifice something to beat them twice in a season.
Sacrifice your family.
No, I'm not. I don't mean that.
I know. I'm only joking. Obviously,
I wouldn't drive the family off a cliff just to beat them home and away. But I mean, in the footballing world,
I was joking.
I would sacrifice something.
Okay, so if you would like to support the show, Ryan did mention this at the beginning. You can do so in a few different ways. You can like and subscribe this video. On YouTube, sorry. It helps us massively and it's free. So, what's not to love?
Why not?
Why not? If you enjoy the podcast, then you can leave us a 5-star review.
5-star only.
5
It's not 5-star, move on.
So wherever you listen to your podcast, there should be a place where you can give us a 5-star review. But as Ryan said, if you don't like us 5 stars worth,
I'll take 4.
Then don't. No.
I'll take 4. I'll take 4. Anything less than 4, move on.
Or you can buy us a coffee, and you can do that by visiting buymeacoffee.com/methewife. You can also, there's a thing on YouTube called Super Chat, which is on the YouTube lives, which we do before and after the games, obviously, if you've been following us for a while. So
you can do all of that stuff. There's also a new thing on YouTube. So every video that comes out, there's now a hype button. So if you're watching us on YouTube, just scroll along. There's a little hype button. If you click
where it
hype,
says like dislike,
Yeah, there's a hype. Yeah, that's it. There's a hype there, and if you hype us, the more hype points you get, the more visibility you get to the world. So we would love it. We would love it if you could hype the video. You can hype us 3 times during a week. So if you didn't even know it existed, so I just told you. So you might as well use all 3 hypes on us. That's what
I'm saying. It's actually thanks to Linda.
Yeah, it was.
Who sent us this lovely gift that actually told us about hype. So there you go. Thank you again. Thank you, Linda.
And obviously, if you do want to get in touch, it's all of the usual places. We are at Me The Wife Pod on social media, or you can email us, me, the wife, and wrexhamafc@gmail.com. Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run 2 weekly Zoom calls. One is on a Monday at 8 p.m, and that is for women. The other one is on Thursday at 7 p.m, and that is for men. The best way to find it is on the Wrexham AFC website. If you scroll to the Communities tab, then to Health, you'll find Dragon Chat in there. They also meet up in person in the Dragon Chat room at the Miners Project at 1 p.m. before every Saturday home game and 6:15 for the midweek games. Quiz time. I've done Ollie Rathbone this week. He celebrated his first league appearance since May with a goal. His 9th for the club.
Oh, for God's sake.
What?
I hate these.
Do you remember his other 8?
No, I don't.
No, that's fine.
Literally don't.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to name a club. Okay. You have to say goal or no goal.
Okay.
There's 10. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance of 10 out of 10.
The chances of that are very slow.
Okay.
Slow? Slim?
Very slow.
Very slow.
Okay. Charlton.
No goal.
That's goal.
See? Told you.
Blackpool.
Goal.
That was goal. That was away. I don't know if you remember that. Do you? You're nodding like, yeah, definitely. I didn't do a 50-50 guess. I definitely remember that one. Okay. Reading.
No. Goal.
That is no goal. Well done. Stevenage.
No goal.
That is no goal. Well done. That's 3. You're flying now. Birmingham.
Goal.
That is goal. Yes. Well done. Do you remember the goal?
Nope.
No. Okay. So he was coming in sort of from the left, curled it. Beautiful. Right in the corner. Lovely goal. Lincoln.
No goal.
It is no goal. Well done. I think you've only got 1 wrong.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Exeter.
Goal.
Well done. You're flying. Leighton Orient.
Goal.
That is goal. This is. Do you be honest? Do you?
I'm totally guessing.
I know. I was going to say. Do you remember any of these goals?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I don't.
Stockport.
No goal.
What's no goal? You should have a go on. Like, you should go to the casino after that. Northampton.
No goal.
Goal. That's 8 out of 10. I would say that was. I think you deserve a little fist bump for that.
Thanks.
Well done. That was. It surprised me, to be honest. I didn't know you were that lucky.
Well, I'm not that lucky, am I? Because
should we toss a coin in a minute and see how many you get right?
We're not millionaires. We haven't won the lottery, so I'm not that lucky.
No, we haven't. No. So
I'm lucky in so many other ways.
Oh, you are. Look, thank you very much for joining us this week. I feel like we've gone on longer than
I know
what we expected. But I'm
joking.
You're horrible sometimes. You know that. Look, we hope you enjoyed it. We always do. I sort of feel like that's the main thing, really. As long as we're enjoying it, we'll carry on doing it.
Yeah.
But it is important to us that you enjoy it as well.
Obviously.
So please let us know. Please let us know that you love us. Anyway, sorry. I think I've gone a bit delusional. Should we wrap it up there?
I think is.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.